and Jen. It's time to speak up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vernisa.
Hey, y'all, this is Jen.
And this is our podcast.
Speak
Up. What's up, Jen?
Hey, girl.
How are you?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm good. Got that we made it to episode 2 of Speak Up Now.
I can't believe it, yo. Before we know, we're going to be at 100 again.
Yes, just flying through. For those of you that don't know, me and Jen are best friends. We create this podcast to use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect.
That's right. No matter how many episodes of this we do, self-love and respect are 2 core values we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, most definitely. But before we get started, a quick shout out to our amazing sponsors. Shout out to Marbar, located at 720 East Manchester, Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at myy.bar.
And shout out to Crafted by 213. Is your partner tired of your lackluster performance in the kitchen? Are you tired of opening the fridge and not knowing what to cook? Do you close your full pantry and say there's nothing to eat? Call Crafted by 213. From catering to classes, let them craft the perfect experience for you. Bringing the flavors of the West Coast with love, Crafted by 213 will always leave you satisfied. Ask for a quote on Instagram at craftedb.213.
Yes, for real. The food is tasty, by the way. I just got to say that. So, we in a new year now. How many days in? 5 days. I hope so far it's been going well for y'all. It's already started off with a woo for me. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's do this. So, Bestie, what is our title for tonight?
Our episode is called, Is It Really New?
Is what new?
So, this is kind of going into that saying of new year, new me, right? But it's like, is it really new, right? Is it really a new you? Are you really trying to be better than last year, And then this is all dependent on you, of course. We'll get into it in the episode a little bit. But yeah, we just wanted to ask that question because is it really a new you? Is it really a new mindset? Is it really new?
Is it really? I love this title that we picked because it's true. Because I feel like, we get stuck on the notion, new year, new me, this and that, But we need to remember that just the title of it alone doesn't mean anything's new. Like if you're taking in the same stuff, literally the same habits, what is really new or what's really changing, And I feel like we're in a time, we're in a generation where it's like we just band-aid everything. Like, we just hide things with labels, just like if somebody was married with kids or something, it's like, okay, just because someone's married doesn't mean it's love. Like anything, you're in school doesn't mean you're learning. So it's like, we really getting, our show is self-love and inner peace. So it's really get into the root of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's easy to say that at all times, right? Like even now, right? We're already 5 days into the new year. Like when you were saying that earlier, I was like, dang, like it's already been almost a week since this year started. And what have we done so far, right? And that just shows how fast time passes. And because of that, we need to actively, on a daily basis, be trying to change our mindset if we're not liking where we're headed.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was refreshing, out here in California, it was raining, on New Year's Eve. And I think it was just beautiful, like to see the rain come down. It's like, I feel like it's like washing away, and like bringing in a new beginning, especially with the sun coming out today. I'm like, okay, a little sunlight. Mm-hmm. So our ask-up question of the day is, what is something you can do better and differently for yourself in this new year? And look, we go hard with these self-reflection questions. Jen actually came up with this question, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really good one to put on there." Somebody actually commented on our Twitter with the answer. So I'm gonna pull that up. But as I'm pulling it up, I guess I'll go ahead and answer the question for myself. I would have to say I would work on. For me, I want to do differently is work on my time management. I really learned anything that you want, you're going to put the time and the effort into it. We do this all day. We talk, I'm going to do this with that. But what are we actually giving that time to, even if it is baby steps? And there's a lot of goals that I wanted to accomplish. Even though I accomplished a lot of things that I didn't give no attention to. I didn't give the time and the energy to. So I really want to take the time out and really break my day out. They all say we all have the same amount of hours a day, all of us, even the most successful people. But really what makes the most successful people stand out and stuff is because they're actually putting time into whatever goals that it is, and they're actually seeing the results. So that's something for me. And I found the answer from our listener. They said taking more action on ideas, even if I think it won't work out. Execute it and live with the results, and don't keep it locked up.
I love
And
that.
that's an amazing. I like that answer because it's very transparent. Because yeah, we say I'll go after it, but I love how he even said there's a chance I might not get what I want out of this. However, I'm still not going to let that stop me. That's taking that risk.
I love that. This year, be a little more fearless, right? Like just going after that goal, that idea. I think for me, I want to work on my consistency a lot more this year. I'm currently like doing a fitness challenge type of thing, and I want to set myself to actually finish it up, and for me, like, fitness has been one of the things that if I can accomplish that, then I can accomplish anything, because fitness also entails with the mindset. Like, there are going to be days where it's like, damn, I don't want to do this, and that type of thing. And it's been pretty good so far, but obviously this is like the hype of the new year, right? So it's like, how long is that hype gonna last for me once this is over? So obviously I want to continue with it afterwards, and that's where that consistency is going to start paying off. And then, okay, once I finish this challenge, like, what's the next challenge that I'm going to do? So I want to just do more of that, like more mini challenges with myself, not just in fitness, but also like even with my finances, even with my mind, like just anything. I want to challenge myself a little bit more this year in being more consistent in finishing things.
I love that. I love the mini challenges within yourself. Ain't those the best? Because I feel like it helps us master that discipline to go after like a bigger goal. So you doing it. Shoot, I'm back on my splits journey. I'm like, forget this. We're gonna make this stuff happen.
Yes.
Time and the effort. Like, I think we throw it around loosely, but I really like when you really just give something, even a little bit. It's like it makes you want to do it more. So. That was well said. Shoot, I like that. So let's talk a little bit. So yeah, we're going deeper with this episode. It's not just about the new year and stuff. We're also talking about self-realization. Understanding why. Honestly, any problem that happens in your life, whether it's internally or something else, when you have that self-realization with yourself, it's actually easy to get past it because you're acknowledging what is causing this. So it goes with the new year, new me. Okay, what is that blockage? What is causing you to not, for a new year to come and you're still stagnant in the same energy? So it's like having that self-realization with yourself and understanding the blockage. That's what it is. So what is self-realization? I think it really is, taking the time to really get to know yourself, know exactly who you are, know your strengths and know your weaknesses. We emphasize on one or the other, but honestly, self-realization is knowing both, so you can use those tools to get what you want. What about you guys?
Yeah, definitely. And I think to add on to that too is to accept what comes with that, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, we are human. There are certain things that are going to be because of how we are created or built or whatever, we're limited to certain things. So yeah, like we probably won't be able to achieve everything we set out to do, but learning to accept that, like kind of like how the person was responding, right? Living with those results. And I think we need to start having better relationships, even with failure or with things that we took a risk on. We found out maybe that's not the path, but I found a different and a better path for myself, kind of like what we talked about on the last episode. So I like this because yeah, we can continue adding onto that definition, right? With the self-realization, like today you might feel one way about something, tomorrow you might feel a whole different way, but that's part of you also, you getting to know yourself, building that relationship with yourself. So I think those are two things that I would add. Definitely accepting what you come with and what you apparently don't come with, right? And then working on that relationship with yourself.
I love that. I'm glad you brought the word failure up because yeah, working a relationship with ourselves is knowing how do we act when it comes to failure. It's a part of it. You really know the real you when things don't go your way, because jolly us, everyone looks the same when they're happy, it's the same. But when things ain't right, that's really the deep in the, the root of everything. And, I want to say to y'all, if something didn't, if something you did last year is affecting you into this new year, figure out what's going on. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I know a lot of people are like, Happy New Year, new me. I spent the first actual day self-reflecting. It was actually, I had a real talk with myself, like about a lot of things that I slacked. I wrote a list of things that I was doing my goals, and I was like, okay, it's time to get real because I can sugarcoat it. I'm in 2023 now. Just because it's in 2020 doesn't mean all that stuff's magic and appear. Like, really, what stopped you from doing that and that time? These are very hard truths you have to give to yourself, but that's a part of that self-realization and that building that relationship.
Basis, like even something that seems insignificant may be the big big epiphany that you needed, right? So like if you hadn't gotten real with yourself and had that reflection, then who knows if you would have gotten to that answer as quickly as you did too. So that way you have more time to start building the habits necessary to make that happen. And I think a lot of us, we need to do that on a consistent basis too, right? Because right now, yeah, there's the hype of, oh, it's the new year, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, we're all ready and motivated for all this stuff. But it's like, okay, how long is that gonna last? Is that gonna last up until the summertime and then you fall back down? Is it gonna last up until springtime? So just really checking in with yourself constantly and really just do that self-talk with yourself, because I think that's where a lot of even the criticism and that fear within ourselves comes from, right? Because sometimes we're like, oh, well, I don't have the tools to do this, or I'm not good enough to do that. Well, have you really tried? And then my thing is too, we need to stop comparing ourselves to other people when we're trying to get on these self-realization moments or journeys, right? Because I think too, that's a lot of where that blockage may be coming from in the first place. Because if we really sat here and we're like, dang, well, so-and-so is my age and they're doing it big. Okay, that's great. Great for them. They're doing their journey, how they're supposed to do it. But I love that we get to really continue checking in with ourselves and building that relationship and really just finding where the root of that problem is once we finally start self-reflecting and having that talk.
Oh, that was well said. That was well said. And all that, I love that you brought up comparing yourself to others, because in the day, it is about self. And we're going to go even deeper. We don't play on here. We're talking about goals and stuff. Even your emotional growth. I had to do, that's something else I got real with myself. I told myself I'm going to stop taking things so personal, other people's actions. We have to learn to not get into other people's vortexes when stuff is happening and things like that. And that sometimes the new year, new me, that's a part of it. That's the inner work, working on those emotional habits. Those things that you normalize within yourself. It's not just this goal of making this much money. It's the inner stuff, the triggers, working through that, what is causing all that. And we have some love in the comments, best friend. You see that?
Yes.
Oh, you want to go ahead? Y'all let you go.
Shout out to Omnipresence. How y'all doing? First time catching a live. Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
Welcome. Yes, happy to have you. And you wrote consistency as well. Yeah, that's what we've been touching up on a lot too, because it's easy to have the hype of the new year, new me, right? But what comes after that hype dies is that consistency, is that time management, is that discipline, all of the above that we've been touching up on so far.
Ooh, that was well said. And I want to say too, how are you talking to yourself through this? Like I just had that prep talk. I wasn't mean to myself, like, ooh, I'm a failure. It's just more like you being real. And that's honestly what's going to help you be gentle with yourself, nurture yourself, and then push yourself to those limits that you have to go. Sometimes you got to tell yourself the real. Sometimes your circle, I'm going to be real. Your friends can help you goal-wise, of course, and little things like that, but no one really knows what's going on internally. Like, no one knows what that voice is saying. A person could be smiling in a picture all day, but you do not know what the voice in their head is telling them. And I learned that's the importance of self-realization, that relationship with yourself, because only you can hear that. You know what I'm saying? You can't really tell everyone everything that your mind tells you every day. So in the day, that's why you have to be transparent with yourself when it comes to all this stuff going on. I learned to be more kinder and gentle with people, because I'm like, I don't know what they're battling internally.
Yeah, that's very true. The way somebody looks like on the outside, or, like how you're saying, smiling, whatever, you really don't know. We all have our own universe, our own world going on inside. And I want to say this as well, that when we say get real with yourself, we sometimes may think of it as like being mean. We're already our worst critics, right? Like you said, only we know what goes on in here. So I know I could tell myself some mean ass things, but in reality, I'm just standing more in my way. I'm like, dang, if I wouldn't ever want to hear that from somebody, why would I say that to myself? Like this, my mind is supposed to be my sacred spot and my safe space. If I can't even have pleasant thoughts about myself inside, how am I really going to build that mindset internally to really be able to push me forward? So yes, real enough to say, you know what, Jen, yeah, you've been slacking, but not mean enough to be like, and you're a damn failure for that. Like, I'm not going to move on to that step, because that's not fair. That's not productive either. We talk a lot about that here on the show too, about that those self-criticisms, how are they productive? If they light that fire on your ass and that works for you, that's cool, but I can't be mean to myself like that, because I don't like being mean to others in that way either. Like, that just doesn't work for me. So yes, push myself, like, keep going, or rewrite what I need to do, but don't be to the point of like, oh, this is why you can't do this, that, because that just gets me more sad and that just makes me fall down more. So if any of you have struggled with that, try to find that balance with that self-talk and how real you want to get with yourself, and then up to what point of meanness you want to incorporate into it too.
Yeah, feel free in the chat to comment any positive self-talk you say to yourself, anything you say to yourself to motivate yourself. We would love to read them and talk about them. And also too, I want to say this too, speaking of the new year and stuff, how people think the problems are just going to vanish. The same problems will follow you into the next year if you don't face them. There's just some things that are just meant to be lessons for us, and you have to work through it. You have to be like, okay, my birthday's in January, so I feel like I always reflect in January, because beginning of January, because my birthday's the end of January, and it's like, oh, I'm about to be another year, and it's a new year. So it's like when I have those hardcore conversations with myself, okay, what am I bringing into my next age? Like it's like a double whammy for me going into that, and Jen's birthday's the next week after, so it's like we're like right there with that, And I want to say too, learn why it's triggering and what's bothering you at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's easier said than done. And of course, like, I think we have to be careful too with how much we're unpacking with our triggers, because it might lead us down this whole rabbit hole, right? So take it step by step. If there's only so much you can do on a certain day or a certain time frame, then that's cool. I think for myself, I like to work on certain aspects of my life rather than overwhelming myself entirely, right? Like, if I'm going to sit down and reflect, I'm going to reflect one day on my money, right? My money habits. What am I doing? What am I doing that's not working for me with my money right now? And I'll focus on it as much as possible. And then when I'm ready to move forward onto something else, it doesn't mean I forget about my money habits. It's just now I'm ready to move on to another aspect of my life. So I start moving into my relationships, right? Like, how can I nurture my relationships better? How can I nurture my relationship with myself better? Okay, I'm working on that for a little bit. Cool. And that has been working for me a little bit better too, because it breaks things down and it reminds me that we are complex creatures. And because of that, there are so many things to work on, but it's not possible for me to do it all at once. I can't say, oh, this is the perfect version of me, blah, 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 and things like that. No, of course not. Like, there's so many things that I come with, so much baggage that I brought with me from last year based on different things that I went through. So I'm trying to work on them this year, but unpacking them little by little too. And it's a safer way to do that as well, because then you're giving yourself that time to really even get into those new habits or get into that new self-talk, or just really figure out, where this is coming from and try to really work on that. And if you realize in the time frame you need professional help of any sort, that would be cool, right? Maybe you need a financial mentor to help you after all. Maybe you need a fitness coach. Maybe you need a therapist, different things like that. It's okay to figure that out as well, and then see where you can get that help, because I'm all about getting that professional help if we can't do it ourselves.
I love it. And it all goes with the senses of like, don't lie to yourself. I think, oftentimes like they say, we'll okay ourselves into a depression, or, be depressed the whole time, so I'm okay. And it's like, it's so much freedom in being real with yourself. And it's like, even if you ain't got it all right, it's like, okay, this is where I'm at with it. What can I do to move forward? Because the only way you know that you need to move up is if you realize that you're down. So I just came up with that just now. But yeah, that's literally what it is, and, accept yourself for who you are. So it's like, none of us are perfect. We all have something going on and stuff, but even accept those little parts of you, like, okay, and then I need to be loved a certain way, because it is, whatever it is, you just know, okay, this is just, I know I need to be gentle in these areas with myself. It's like if you have a close friend or something, right? And, they know something happened to you. A real friend isn't going to put a knife in that. They're going to be gentle around those soft spots, not bring up certain topics, because they know that's going to trigger you. So it's the same thing with yourself. Know who you are, know what's going to bother you and what's going to stop you from growing. And also know what kind of tough love works. There's different types of tough love. It ain't just like that. Some people like to be yelled at. Some people like to be so right. Like, it's really about learning what works for you. You know what I mean? I'm just straight to the point. Just tell me, like, give it to cutthroat, whatever. But everyone has their own way, And it's like, just like all other relationships, the relationship with yourself actually requires the most work.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to be able to have other successful relationships. And I think we don't talk about that enough, right? Like, yes, you're so used to yourself. Oh, I'm me all day, blah, 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 you know, that type of thing. And while that's true, it's like, what does that really mean? When you think about who you really are, how you identify in every type of way, it can be a loaded question. And if you've never really sat down to think about that, then maybe now is the time to do that. Because once you start really knowing your core values, knowing what triggers you, what makes you happy, different things, then you'll start to realize why you function the way that you do too, in your relationships, in your habits, why you think the way that you do. And it's just a wonderful thing getting to know yourself. Like, I know some people, they get excited about getting to know their partner, you know, or their friends and stuff like that. While all that stuff is great, I get excited getting to know about myself, like learning something I like to do, you know, learning something that I don't like to do, or something like that. Because you should never stop getting to know yourself. You should always be excited to live your life. You should always be excited to look forward to seeing, dang, what kind of woman am I going to become this type of year, in 5 years, in even 2 years, whatever. And just seeing what kind of woman you're deciding, or person you're deciding to be every single day. Like, I think there's nothing better than just being excited for your own life. Because if you're not excited, who's going to be excited for you?
Mm-hmm. That's where I had a moment today where I was bumping music. I just started dancing by myself, and I was like, you know, let me, instead of like getting on myself about it, I'm like, okay, you're in a good mood, you're happy, enjoy that, you know. Like, just be, I'll just start busting out dancing. I know all the time, but you know, that's how, you know, learn yourself when you're happy. Like, what do you like to do when you're feeling good, you know? And I think it's beautiful when you let that out. You know, I want to say
that too. I was just gonna say, like, if you're ever in a randomly good mood, enjoy that, right? Because we all can go crazy and bad in an instant. So if you have that random moment of wanting to dance, wanting to laugh, smile, whatever, enjoy that. How often does that come around?
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, laugh it off, forget it. Like, we didn't even laugh at stuff bad. We was just laughing like, I don't understand or whatever. Like, and also too, I think too, we need to understand that we all see this world through a different lens. That helps you to not take things personal. You know, I was me and Jen had a convo the other day. I was talking about how, like, we're all in our own world, literally, and we all have things that have shaped us, shaped our perspective, and things like that. So it's like, people aren't going to see things the way that you do. So it's like, that's a part of getting to know you and why you see the world through that lens. That's all a part of self-realization and realizing other people, that acknowledging that they're around as well.
Yeah, we need to really find out that lens, you know, because I think for myself, this was back maybe really before I started working on myself. I would say right after high school, or right into early college, I realized I looked at the world in a very pessimistic way, I guess is the best way I would describe it. Like, I think I didn't expect people to be good necessarily. I didn't expect them to be bad, but I didn't expect like somebody to just want to help me for no reason, or I didn't expect somebody just being nice by saying hello or something. But like, the older I got and the more I really started to realize, Jen, it's not just about you. You know, yes, you live your world and everything, but there's so many other people who really are just genuinely good people. Then I started really opening up and realizing, oh dang, like the lens that I was operating in is what made me see people that way. But when I started operating a different lens, it's like, wow, there really are some magnificently beautiful people out there, especially on the inside. Like, I've met quite a few people that I'm just like, dang, this type of person exists. And it's cool because operating through that lens even allowed me to meet, you know, you, my best friend, because we met in college, obviously. For those of you who have been watching us for a while, we talk about that like almost every episode. But it was a good time in my life to really start shifting that perspective and realizing, dang, I can have a good friend too that isn't, you know, out to get me. I can trust her like family. You know, we basically lived together like family. We went through so many things together like family. So it's just like, yeah, Jen, it was time to shift that perspective. So if any of you are struggling out there, maybe it's that lens that you're operating through in not letting you see that there are good people out there too.
Yeah, like, best friend, you definitely have shown me too that there are trusting people out, you know, like there's someone you could let that guard down with. Because, especially too, if you came from a upbringing that was filled with trauma and stuff like that, it's easy to be in that trauma lens all the time, thinking someone's here to get you, to attack you, someone else is going to hurt you. So it's like, it's true. And I guess we have to ask ourselves, where is that lens taking us? Because literally, if you got the wrong, it's like you driving and you got the wrong glasses on. Is it going to take you into a wall, or is the vision clear and you can see where you're going? Like the poet in me coming out. But that's literally what you have to, what you have to see. And that's a part of getting real with yourself. Am I acting out this because I'm hurt, or am I taking this personal because I'm hurt, or is this really what's happening? And then that's the person. And I think too, when you know what lens you're looking through, it's easier to tell if someone's projecting onto you, or that's really or you're just tripping and that's what you're seeing, because it's real. Like, it works both ways. We're quick to blame other people. Why are they being like this? But what are we seeing? Sometimes you're seeing a whole different thing that ain't even happening.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say this too, in that we're talking about this. Obviously, we're not saying be naive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And operating through a different lens, a better lens, whatever. Like, yes, obviously, I think we go through certain things in life, meet certain people in life to learn, and then to also get stronger in our character and really find out what, again, we mess with, what we don't mess with, type of things like that. So it's okay to know that, yes, you've been hurt, and it's okay to be a little bit more cautious, because maybe before, you were too trusting, and then you found out that, not everybody should be trusted. So now you take care of yourself better. So I think just knowing where to find that balance, but also not shutting yourself out to the world completely and not being too completely open to the world either.
That was definitely well said. I want to say too, when life seems boring, we actually should be doing the inner work, honestly. Like, that's the time to really, it's always, I find there's always growth, things that we can do with ourselves. We're always changing. I feel like every year is a new chapter, every day is a new chapter, a new version of you. So it's like, get to know yourself through that too. You might be healed a little more. Something might not affect you as much as it used to, or it might affect you more, but it's like really acknowledging what phase you're going in. I'm gonna be real. I actually, I'm about to my birthday in a few weeks, and it hit me. I'm like, am I going through a little identity change? You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm like, because it's true. We are constantly changing as people, and like certain things that were once important to us might not be anymore. It might have different things, different views. We may feel different about certain people or situations. You know what I mean? So it's really about that reevaluating all through the process.
Yeah, definitely. That's why it never stops, right? As the older we get, like, there's no point that you should be like, oh, I'm done growing as a person. I've learned all that I can learn. In that case, life is going to get very boring. But I guarantee you that you never stop learning, especially if you are actively looking and trying to live your life. Just because you're waking up every day doesn't mean you're actually living every day, and living every day doesn't even necessarily mean like taking big trips or anything like that. Sure, look forward to stuff like that, taking advantage of the good things in life, but also just enjoying your cup of coffee or tea in the morning, or water, enjoying that meal that you're having, just enjoying the smallest things in life, spending time with your loved ones, spending time by yourself for once, maybe, like different things like that, where it's like, I'm living my life the best that I can. Maybe I want to be more calm this year, so I want to dedicate myself to me a little bit more, just different things. And I forgot where I was going with that, but just really acknowledging that we have to be living our lives the best that we can, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to work on that relationship with ourselves. Oh, and I was going to say, and life won't seem so boring either when we keep doing that.
I love that. Ooh, that was well said. Yes. So it's time for our tweet up segment. So y'all know I like to be on Twitter, but I'm tweeting. I'm gonna say a tweet from our Speak Up page today, and the tweet is: "There's a reason you feel that way. Take the time to figure out why." So everything happens for a reason. Like, I feel like anything that you feel, it's a reason you feel that way, right? But how many times have we felt something and we just brushed it off and we didn't really get to the root of why it was? And honestly, all the times I really sat there and figured out what was bothering me, it actually felt better instantly. I'm being honest with y'all. So I was like, okay, the cool little life hack I'm gonna just share because it works, and time doesn't make things disappear. Like I said, like I said in the beginning, we put so much emphasis on New Year or another birthday's coming, this and that. But you're carrying the same stuff, it's like Erykah Badu said, bag lady. If you're still carrying the same baggage with you, it's just time doesn't matter.
Yep. And I take it like this, where it just accumulates, right? So it's in that same sense of how much baggage are you carrying? It's like, how much are you adding to that credit of your life? Like, if you're not working on some of your childhood things. You're not working on some of your teenage things, relationship stuff. Like, you just keep adding stuff on and on and on, and you start molding into those circumstances versus your true character and what you actually learned, and that strength, and maybe coming out of love. So when we're waiting for the big moments and stuff like that, we're actually bringing a lot of that with us. Like, how can you effectively enjoy even like a birthday, right? If you're just bringing baggage maybe from a past birthday that, oh, nobody celebrated my birthday, so I'm just going to be hard. Like, how, in what way does that matter now? What can you do that happened to you back then now, right? Nothing's going to change those circumstances. So you might as well just change the way that you look at things and start to look forward to different things in your life, but also start looking forward to the very exact moment that you have right in front of you, right before your birthday comes in. If that's, the milestone, since that's what we've been talking about, if that's the milestone that you want to look forward to. So let's say, yeah, your birthday is coming up in a few weeks and you're feeling a certain type of way about it or something like that. Well, what's something positive that you can do for yourself on your birthday, right? If your birthday is a touchy subject, or what's something that you have always wanted to do and you're finally going to be able to do it, even if it's something small. Maybe you buy yourself a big cake, or you finally get to try a different meal for your birthday or something like that. Like, I always just take it as the smaller things make me more excited, and especially when I'm reaching or about to reach those bigger milestones, I can enjoy it a lot better because things are a lot sweeter in that type of mindset.
Oh, that was well said. Oh, we got some love in the comments.
Hey, Trey Legend 100. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Shout out. Thank you for tapping in. And we're simply, y'all, figure yourself out. Like, when something's wrong. I mean, shoot, I'm big on, me and Jen both actually, we're huge on isolation sometimes. Like, we know, gotta go. Let me get this in order, there's just beauty in figuring out what's really going on, giving love to that inner child, that didn't get certain amount of attention, they didn't get what's wrong, they didn't get that question, and, we have to take the time to pour back into ourselves, and I want to say this too, don't use someone as an excuse for the lens. So, we're quick to blame other people for our problems. Oh, it's because of this. And it's like, well, really, what's up with you that's going on? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves that.
Yeah, because yes, we're not in control of how other people treat us, what they say to us, XYZ, but we are in control of what we choose to do afterwards and how long we let that affect us in the way that we're reacting to the world. So I take it this way: if somebody hurt me in any type of way, why would I take it out on someone new? Why would I take it out on my best friend, on my family, when they weren't the ones who did it? Or let's say, yeah, if a family member was the one who did it, okay, then I know how to maneuver around them or stay away from them if I have to. But also knowing that other family members aren't supposed to be paying for someone else's mistakes. And then that's the thing, like, why are we so ready to hurt everybody just because we've been hurt? And that's not fair. And then that's how we start pushing people away. That's how we start realizing, like, wait a minute, I'm the one in my own way. I'm the one looking at things a certain way. And then not seeing too that sometimes people really are just trying to properly love you.
Oh, yes. I love that. And no, don't reject that good love. He also said we must change for ourselves and not for what others view our past. Yeah. That's a bit of self-realization. Good nugget right there.
I wanted to add to that because of what you said, what others view in our past. Like, that's a big one too, right? Maybe we were a certain way. We did certain things that maybe we shouldn't have done. But if you're genuinely trying to be better from that, you're genuinely changing to a better person, and somebody just keeps nagging at you, don't listen to them. Stay away from them if you can, or limit your interaction with them as possible. As long as you know in your heart that you're doing better despite those mistakes that you've made, then that's what counts, right? Because at the end of the day, only you live with you. Don't let what someone else is saying stop you from trying to make that positive change for yourself.
Oh, I love that. And no one owes you anything. That's another one. We think, oh, this person, shoot. Honestly, I learned too, no one even owes you an apology. We put a lot of power on it because that's putting the power. I get it. Like, people do wrong. Of course, I think people should take accountability and stuff. But I think if we live with this notion, like, they have to say sorry, they have to take accountability, we're going to be stuck under that. And I think that's where the power of forgiveness comes. Sometimes, like, forgiveness comes from, or having your own closure gives you your power back. Because even if that person ain't right, some people just will never be. Some people ain't going to say sorry, ain't going to fix it. You know what I mean? But what, you're going to self-destruct because of you're holding on to whatever that person, and that's where you get your power back at. And it's something so liberating about that. Yeah, he said you're only damaging yourself. Exactly. That's where that self-destruction comes in.
Yep. Yeah. Don't take in other people's projections, right? I guess that's what we're trying to say too. Like when you're working on your self-realization in your journey, that's when you start realizing, you know what, I need to listen to these thoughts. Like how many of these thoughts are actually my own, or am I being influenced by somebody out there who's telling me I can't do this or I can't do that, right? If we're constantly living in that way, then we're only living somebody else's life. There's no way that we're taking actual control of our life. And the older we get, then we have to realize we are more in control of things than we want to actually admit. So when you start really working on that relationship with yourself, everybody outside just becomes noise, or you don't even hear it anymore, because you know how focused you are and how much on a better journey you're trying to be on. So none of that extra stuff matters.
Oh, extra stuff. I like that. We're gonna cut the dead ends this year, 2023. Look, he said, change your energy and focus, because as long as you let things bother you, it eats away at your peace. And sometimes that's people's goal, to eat at your peace. You know, they know certain things, they know they're bothering you. Mm-hmm. And you know, I learned to take that power back. You know, like F that. I'm not, especially if you're a highly sensitive person like I am. You know, learning to get your power back in those situations. It is time for our life up segments. That's when we take the episode and we compare it to something in the real world. So, Bessie, what's our life up for tonight?
Tonight's life up segment is people thinking everybody has to see things the way that they do or that we do. You know, and this goes back to what we're saying. Everybody lives their own life, their own universe, everything. So not everybody's going to have the same perspective. We all differ in core values. What matters to us in the household, you know, how we even raise our children or raise ourselves too at a certain point. Like all of that is so different from person to person, even within the same household. So we have to stop thinking that everything's going to be exactly the way it is. And we have to stop getting mad when people don't live their life the same way that we do.
I love that. Yeah, getting mad, because we get frustrated, and I feel like we don't know how to agree to disagree. You know, that's really what it is. Because once you accept that not everyone has the same self-realization as you do. Some people don't even have self-realization, don't even know who they are, just be acting out of whatever. And it's like you too busy taking their stuff and trying to make them think like you. Where is the solution in that? You know, end of the day too. Another part of our life up is people using New Year's as a cover-up for their ongoing problems. So if we said New Year, new me isn't no damn eraser, you're waking up in the same situation you was just in. So what are you going to do about it? Yeah, it's a good motivator. Like, okay, I can look at this as a fresh start. I think every day is a fresh start. I think the next hour is a fresh start, honestly. But, you know, okay, so we want to take it as big as a year, but what are you going to do moving forward into that new year and this new identity?
Yeah, or are you just going to relive the same exact year you just had?
Oof, love that. He said, very true. He said, you will not truly understand a person if they don't want you to. I mean, that's real too. How many of us walking around with poker faces not letting nobody in? How do we fix this? Honestly.
I'm just kidding.
Agree to disagree. Learn that people are different. You know, don't take nothing personal. Acknowledge that people are living in their own worlds as well and have their own problems.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be a person, I was real open about all my problems. You know, I'm just very transparent. That's who I am. However, I had to learn not everyone's like that. You know, some people rather battle alone, not saying anything. I'm not saying it's healthy, but, you know, really acknowledging that we are all different and we handle things differently.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people may view us being this transparent as not healthy, right? Because it's like, oh, they're airing their problems out. And it's like, yeah, we only let y'all know what we want y'all to know, of course. But I think we have to be okay with also understanding other people's lenses. If you're really trying to get to the root of why this happens or why there's so many disagreements, and it's really just saying like, oh yeah, I see, right? You were raised a certain way, or maybe you liked things a certain way, or your personality is just a certain type, right? So you operate on a certain lens, and that's fine. I just think not everything has to be a discussion. Like I sometimes it's so frustrating trying to put something out, even like this on the internet, right? Because there's always going to be that one person trying to make you to disagreement or saying, oh, but this and that, you weren't correct in this. Like, at the end of the day, we take it as this is what works for us, and this is the lens that we operate through. And if you don't like it, you can click off, right? So it's the same thing with us. If I see a video or someone saying something I don't necessarily agree with, why do I have to get all up in their face and tell them that they're wrong when I could just click away, walk away, mind my business? If what they're doing isn't affecting me personally, then I shouldn't have to worry about it.
That's well said. Take the time to understand other people's lenses, and know when not to take in other people's views. I feel like that comes with that self-realization. So us knowing that being this way works for us, that's us standing in our authenticity. I can't say that word, of who we are. So yeah, right. You said what?
I was like, you said it perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's what that's like the piggy off what you were saying. Trey Legend said, I like this topic tonight. It really was what I needed. Thank you both, queens. We are glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for tuning in. He said, words get harder the more we try to show actions. Yeah, that's it. Ooh, you ain't lying about that. So we have another sponsor to shout out.
Shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind for a goal to let your self-love show through your self-care. Their chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while you're taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com or check them out on Instagram at BeActualNatural.
Shout out to Lakita. Thank you for being an amazing sponsor. But y'all know what time it is. It is time for our Drink Up Water segment. So if you're listening right now, please grab some water, drink some water. And Jen has a water fact for tonight.
So tonight's water fact is drinking water first thing in the morning flushes out the stomach and therefore balances the lymphatic system. A stable lymphatic system will help build a strong immune system, which will also prevent us from getting sick as often. And then 2, it helps with inflammation, which is something that I'm learning after the medical thing that I went through. So drinking a lot of water in the morning has actually been helping me stay less inflamed throughout the day. So if y'all find yourselves maybe struggling with that a little bit, then maybe drinking some water is helping. And it's so refreshing too. Like, there's something I've been enjoying so much about drinking water first thing in the morning in the cold weather, as crazy as that sounds, but I've been enjoying it a lot. But we've also talked about drinking warm water or hot water in the morning, if that works for you too, just as long as you're drinking it. It's going to help really flush out and kind of reboost your system.
Oh, that was well said. That was our water fact. Please drink some water. I know it's cold outside. People forget to drink water when it's cold. So drink some water, not just when it's hot. So love that. So back to our episode. So, back to self-talk and everything we were just saying about self-realization. I feel like during the self-talk, a good exercise is asking yourself, why is this bothering me? So, why is it this year going the way I planned it? Why am I still upset about whatever this was that happened 3 years ago? Whatever. The truth will set you free, honestly. They say that little cliche line, but I'm like, that's a real ass quote right there. Understanding why and then we're working through it.
Yeah, there's sometimes we don't realize how much we're really being held back by what we've gone through, right? And if we're not asking these type of questions, then we may never realize it. Like, I think for me, as these holidays hit, I realized how much certain family things are still in the way for me. So it's like, I need to really hone in and continue to work on that. Yes, I've worked on a few things, but it's like this past year for some reason really hit when the holidays hit with certain family things, and I had to sit down and ask myself, why is this still bothering me? And the more I continued to answer the question, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm realizing it's still some childhood things up in there. Let me sit down and really just focus on that, or talk it out, that kind of helped too. But yeah, just really owning that was still bothering me.
Oh, and we all know it's not easy to do it. Like, I even had to be real with myself, like, I've been known for being strong all the time, this and that. And shoot, I had an epiphany. I was like, you get tired of being strong. Like, you get to a point where it's like, but that's being real with yourself. Like, okay, I'm not feeling my, when can that armor come off? When does it always have to be held and on? It's like, that's a part of it too. Especially when you had a great year. It took strength to get through that. Sometimes, okay, I need to take a breath. I need to drink a sip of water right now and just breathe. And I think sometimes it's okay to acknowledge, like, okay, I've been going hard. I've been grinding hard, but it's okay to be a little more gentle now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and give yourself that time. So it's time for our quote up segment. Y'all know my bestie is a quote, so she has a quote for tonight that goes with our episode.
It is short and sweet. Tonight's quote up is, "You cannot change what you refuse to confront." And before anybody's like, oh, you know, some people, we don't like confrontation, whatever, it doesn't have to be so literal. It can be as much as, yeah, like the question we were asking previously, why is it bothering you? It can be writing things out. It can be letting it out, you know, by screaming, yelling, you know, going to fitness classes. I don't know, something. I'm just making stuff up at this point. But it's stuff that if it's really bothering us, then we have to work on it, or else it will fester, and it's going to be something that we take with us, and then God forbid we pass it on to somebody else, right? Our children, our friendships, our relationships. And it's something that, if it's something that we're not so much proud of, then it's definitely something we need to confront. And the sooner we do it, the better it'll be for us in the long run, the better relationship we'll have with ourselves too, right? Just like we would want a partner to be honest with us, we should want that same in return for ourselves.
Oh, that's well said. I think the word confront, it sounds so combative, you know, and it's like going with confront. It could be the most gentlest thing, just prepping yourself, asking yourself, like, you know, being gentle with yourself. It doesn't have to be so like, bam, this has to happen, you know, but it can't get changed though if it's not acknowledged. You don't even know what it is. You acting like it's not there. If the elephant in the room is always being ignored, yeah, what's gonna happen?
It'll just get louder.
Yeah, just get louder. And you know, and I think I'm gonna be real. If you let it fester, it becomes combative. Mm-hmm. You have to combat it now. Like, it's like when they say, take care of your body or your body will force you to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you feel yourself getting sick, you just ignore it, and then you ignore it, but then bam, it fully hits you full throttle. Guess what? You have to now take full initiative, go in combat mode, go to the hospital or whatever. So it's the same thing when it comes to our life issues and things that are happening to us.
No, that's very true, y'all. I can't even emphasize that enough, because we really have only this one mind.
Yeah.
And the more we think about that, the more it really sits with us. And or at least I would hope, right? At least for me, like, the more I remind myself, Jen, if you don't take care of this mind, what other one are you going to get? It's like the same thing with your body. This is the only body I have, so might as well love it, nurture it, and work on it as I have it, right? Because no one is guaranteed to know what's going to happen afterwards, or even what your mindset is going to be like in 5 years when something really big hits or something like that. So if we're not working on our mental strength, I want to say, then it'll be a lot easier for us to succumb to life circumstances and, you know, become this bitter person and just really feel like we have to be on defense mode and attack mode at the same time all the time. But when we start to really just work on the things that are bothering us, then we realize, okay, I can now let this thing of the past go so that I'm better equipped for whatever is about to come to me. Because we all know life is going to get hard at some point, if it isn't already for you, or if you're going through a particular phase right now. So just really take care of that mind and don't let things fester in there, because it's the only one that you got.
Oh, that defense and combative mode through. Ooh, that was tough. Jeez, yikes. Don't even say that.
I know, sounding like Scooby-Doo over here.
Yeah, you never heard me say yikes on no pressure.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, no, that's real. And also, it's time for our wrap-up segment. So how does this relate to self-love? Self-love is having self-realization. You know, when you love yourself, you're going to take the time to realize, to have that self-realization. Work through whatever's going on. Letting go of that baggage, you know. We don't want to hold burdens on ourselves. You know, this is a big thing here. I think the burden is the battle within ourselves that we take with us. You know, the battles that we're avoiding fighting. You know, all those things. You know, working through it, loving yourself, so you can get into a space where you can be more gentle with yourself. It doesn't have to feel so combative.
Exactly. Think about like a root to anything, a root to a tree, right? Or the roots to the tree. Those are really what's holding the tree in place. So it's kind of the same thing in a problem, right? If you're not digging deep down into those roots, then guess what? Those problems are really going to stay stuck in there, in that mindset, in your body, whatever it is, and it's just going to keep growing, right? A tree continues to grow as long as it continues to be nurtured. So it's the same thing with you. You can continue to grow as long as you continue to be nurtured, but work on your healthy roots, work on proper roots versus working on the roots of holding on to that trauma or that anger or, you know, any of those other more intense emotions, and really just focused on being better and growing every single day.
Oh, that was well said. I love the comparison to the tree. You know, the roots are important, you know. And in the day too, solutions are found within. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier about, you know, not everyone hears the voices in your head. All that is within. So you know what's being said to you, know what's really wrong. I mean, let's be real, even when we're trying to act like we're okay, we're not. Do you fully tell everyone exactly every single thing that's wrong deep down? Like you said, that's like if, you know, you with your homegirl and then they see their ex. I'm fine. They ain't gonna say the exact. Oh, you know, it bothered me a little. Was I looking cute? You know, no, people ain't gonna say 100% of all those thoughts that were going through their head. So that's where it goes to. That it is within, like just sitting with yourself for 5 minutes, figuring out what is going on. That's okay if something still bothers you. We're not saying, oh, dang, it bothers you. Oh, that's bad. Okay, figure out what it is and what's really going on. You know, that's a part of self-love and inner peace.
And I was going to add to that in a way of saying that there's going to be certain things that will always bother us, right? Yeah. Even to a certain degree. Certain things that maybe are unexplainable to us. We don't understand why they happened. And I think in that aspect, it's okay to not have an answer to, you know, and I think that's okay to put into this episode as well, because as much as we try to figure our lives out, and even we keep saying like, oh, get to the root of it, try to figure out where the issue is, certain things we have to just learn to live with. Unfortunately, you know, no one promised us that life was going to be fair. And I think that's the realest thing I've ever told myself. But also in realizing that, okay, yeah, while that's true, there are certain things in life that I can still enjoy despite what is bothering me. You know, maybe I had a certain loss that I wasn't expecting. So for me, it's like, well, dang, why did that happen? You know, and I get more questions rather than answers. But I'm realizing too that if I survived that, that shows my character. That shows that I am trying to be better. If I didn't let that make me a bitter person, then that shows that my heart is in the right place and I am trying to just work on myself and be a better person every single day. So that's the answer that I'm going to give myself. Rather than drive myself crazy to that specific scenario, I'll bring it back to me.
Ooh, that was beautifully said. You know, so in the day we have to really dig deep and figure out what exactly is going on. What's our wrap up for tonight?
That although it is a new year, you can still end up having the same problems from last year if you don't take the time to work on yourself. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to say this in this episode, but I think it's just a wonderful reminder, because while the hype is here of it's a new year, etc., we did say we're almost done with the first week of the new year. So that means we have about 51 more weeks left of this year. Are you just going to make it a repeat of the last year, of the last 2 years, 5 years? If your answer is no, then start working on yourself and with yourself today.
It goes with that saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. So it's like, if you're doing the same hamster wheel, exact same hamster wheel, what is really going to change if you think? So, but you know, love yourself through it, give yourself grace, pat yourself on the back to making it to the new year, to even having new goals, to even write it out. That takes time. So we're proud of y'all. We all out here in work in progress. We appreciate y'all tapping into our second episode of our new segment, SpeakUpJV Now. But before we go, quick shout out to our amazing sponsors. Shout out to Marbar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at myy.bar.
And shout out to Crafted by 213. Is your partner tired of your lackluster performance in the kitchen? Are you tired of opening the fridge and not knowing what to cook? Do you close your full pantry and say there's nothing to eat? Call Crafted by 213. From catering to classes, let them craft the perfect experience for you. Bringing the flavors of the West Coast with love, Crafted by 213 will always leave you satisfied. Ask for a quote on IG at craftedb.213.
And last but not least, shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products created with you in mind for a goal to let your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactual.com. The Instagram is at BeActualNatural. Y'all can catch us live every Thursday on here. Follow us on Instagram at SpeakUpJV. Tweet us at SpeakUpJV. My Instagram is at Vernisa. That's V as in Victor, ERNISA. And we also have some more pre-recorded episodes coming up. Please check out our latest episode on friendship. Subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We everywhere. We global. We love y'all. Push yourself. And and love yourself through it.
Love y'all and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.